Hey kids, I'm glad that you're back with me. How are you? Okay, I hope everybody is ready for another story and happy Valentine's Day to you. I pray that you feel God's love and that you feel safe and that you feel nice and good, right? Okay, all right. The book that we're going to read today is called The Friendship Train, a true story of helping and healing after World War II. Okay? So this book might be for maybe a little bit of the older children, but that's okay. All right? You can still listen in. It's by Debbie Levy and illustrated by Boris Kalivko. Okay. The Friendship Train. Look at the children. All right. All right. Now, this is a book about children helping other children in a part of the world where there was war, where there was hunger, and, they needed help. So let's listen and pay attention. And this is a story about people loving one another, too. So keep that in mind, all right? The Friendship Train. On one side of the ocean, children's bellies growled. A war had ended. Fighting had destroyed farms. Winter was coming to Europe, and there was no time to grow food before the cold set in. There was peace, but not enough to eat. See the picture of that part of the world? Okay? All right. And this part of the world they're showing you is Europe. Okay? All right. On the other side of the ocean in Washington, D.C., a man named Drew Pearson wondered, how can I help? He could buy food for some hungry children, but so many were hungry. The need was too big for one person to fill. So Mr. Pearson thought a little bigger. What if other Americans joined him to send flour and sugar, milk, macaroni, beans, and peas to hungry families? If a special train, a friendship train, ran from California on the West Coast to New York on the East Coast, would people fill it with boxes and sacks and cans of food? Would Americans care for strangers as they would care for friends? Let's see. Mr. Pearson was a writer whose articles appeared in hundreds of newspapers. He took his idea to his readers, see? So he wrote articles all over the United States where people would see what his desire was for the little children and adults that were hungry in the war-torn parts of Europe. It says here, why not send food on a friendship train? That's beautiful. So that gets the hearts of the people stirred up in the USA to help our fellow people over in Europe. Answers came in the mail. Lots of answers. Wow, look at this. One person wrote, it would be a pleasure and honor for us to print the labels and stickers for the donations. Another person wrote, here for many bags of rice. Another, I have no corn, wheat, or potatoes. I will send a check that will buy a few bushels of the above mentioned. I would regard it an honor to serve in the capacity of a conductor without pay. He was going to drive the train and not get paid for it. We mothers all along the route will turn out and assist in any way possible. So people were excited about helping others, right? We want to be excited too about helping others. Children wanted to get on board the friendship train too. How can we help? They were so excited, right? How can we help? They asked themselves. They came up with answers, lots of answers. Box cars full of answers. Look at them peeking in, right? To see how can we help. They had a plan too to help out. Children can help too, right? Wow. Look at this picture. Look at them. all lined up to help the children of Europe to get food and receive love. Students collected cans of milk at school. Children donated their ice cream nickels. They chipped in quarters to buy a carload of sugar. Teens loaded food packages onto trucks for delivery to the railway station. On Halloween, kids asked for treats of nuts and dried fruits and flour and macaroni for the hungry people across the sea. And all this was in California alone. Mr. Pearson had worried that there wouldn't be enough donations to fill a single boxcar when the train started out in Los Angeles. He need not have fretted. The train left that city not with one boxcar of food, but with 12. Wow, look at that. Look at how these children over here are waiting. It says France, Italy. Yes, they were waiting for the food. All right. And children across the country were busy making sure the number got bigger and bigger. They sold tickets to wrestling matches, collected waste paper and sold it, ran errands for money, saved their allowances, and donated their lunch money. Wow, look at them. Look at the sacrifice that they made. Do you know what it means to sacrifice something? It means that if you have something that's special to you, and you say, say like you have $5 in your piggy bank, but you see a little child at school that maybe doesn't have lunch, and you say, here's $5, you could go, and you bring it the next day, and you sacrifice your $5 so that they can have some lunch. That's what it means to give up something that's special for someone else, okay? All right. The friendship train. It's all to buy food for the friendship train. Many families had scrimped at their own dinner tables, yet they gave what they could. There were some who didn't agree with the idea of sending food overseas at all, so they didn't. Well, see, you have to see that other people need help and let the love that is in your heart reach out to them, right? No one had to participate, but you got to participate. If you saw the need and you saw that people needed food and love, you gave it, and the people did. They didn't stop the friendship train from growing and growing, and children kept figuring out ways to make it grow even more. Look at the truckload of food and boxes and different things that were sent to the little European children and the adults too, of course. But I like the fact that the little children had it in their heart to help the other children around the world. From small towns to big cities, kids knocked on doors to collect food from neighbors, went to showings of movies where the price of a ticket was a can of milk, picked corn that harvesting machines had left behind in the fields, wrote a neighborhood newspaper and sold it for 2 cents a copy, showed up in banks to collect money from customers, set out boxes on main streets for contributions, all to fill train cars for strangers across the ocean. Look at that. Look at the children going from place to place to collect money, to collect food, to send on that friendship train for their friends in Europe, right? That's beautiful. Look at the smiles on their faces. Look how happy they were to help them. It's a great thing to help other people, right? It's good to help other people. It makes us feel good within our own hearts. All right. By the time the friendship train reached Chicago, it had so many boxcars that it had to be split in two. 80 cars rolled into the city, and 100 cars rolled out brimming with food. Flour and sugar, milk and macaroni, dried beans and peas, good food for growling bellies. Look at that. Look at that, how they went across from California through Chicago and on their way to New York, and then it would get on a ship to go over to Europe. France and Italy and the different places that the people needed food. As the train's two parts rolled east, wind snapped, snow fell, and rain drove down like icy needles. But nothing could keep the people away. Gifts of food kept pouring in, nuts and raisins, honey and oats, wheat and corn, cans and cans and cans of milk. Fine fare to keep people happy. Fine fare to keep people healthy and happy too. The trains kept growing. All right. Look at that. Like they had even a band to send off the train. Little music there, right? To make everybody happy for giving to others. 11 days after the Friendship train tooted out of Los Angeles with 12 boxcars, its two sections chugged into New York City, more than 200 cars long. It was time to celebrate. In New York Harbor, boats and barges put on a parade. Some of the boxcars floated past the Statue of Liberty, which itself had been a gift of friendship from France to the United States 60 years earlier. And the food kept coming. People who didn't live near the Friendship train main route sent boxcars on different railways. Others sent food by airplane. In the end, the people of the United States collected more than 500 boxcars of food, which is a very, very, very long train. Wow, look at that. Look at that, how they're sending it out across the sea to people they've never met. See, you can help somebody you've never met before, right? Okay. From one parade in the harbor to another parade on land, people filled New York City's famed Broadway to continue the celebration. And children still weren't done. At the big ceremony, kids made speeches in front of famous dignitaries. They spoke in French and Italian in honor of the two nations that would receive most of the Friendship's train bounty. They wore the traditional costumes and of those countries, and they brought even more packages of food. Look at that. Look how they dressed up like the people in the countries to help them and say, look, the food is on its way. The food is on its way. All right. Volunteers and workers organized all the donations into parcels for the long voyage across the Atlantic Ocean. On December 7th, 1947, a giant ship steamed out of New York. Below decks, it was stuffed with food from the Friendship train. But one giant ship wasn't enough to haul it all. 2 ships weren't enough. 3 ships weren't enough. It took 4 big ships to carry the precious cargo. Wow, look at that. Look at the 4 ships. All of the food on those 4 ships. Wow. Okay, we're back again. I had to pause it for a minute. Okay. All right. In worn-torn harbors, the ships were a welcome sight. Look, the people came to France first. Look at that. That's the Arc de Triomphe. Oh my goodness. Look at that, how they came. They were so happy to receive all of that food and help and love from the people over in the United States. The harsh winter passed. Week by week, month by month, the people of Europe were rebuilding their lives. They remembered the Americans' generosity. In France, a railway worker named André Picard wondered, how can I show my gratitude? Monsieur Picard had an idea. He could fill a railroad car with gifts to send to the Americans. He talked about his idea with others. 1 boxcar? The gratitude was too great to just fit into 1 boxcar. Then Mr. Picard thought a little bigger. If he gathered an entire train of mini boxcars, would the people of France fill it with presents to say, merci, a big thank you to the strangers across the ocean? Oui, Mr. Picard said yes, they would. The children wanted to get on board the Mercy train, the thank you train, too. What gifts can we give? They asked themselves. Look at them. They're thinking, what could they give in gratitude? They were grateful for the help that they had received. So they wanted to give back. See, that's what happens when you receive good things. You want to give back good things, right? They found answers, lots of answers, boxcar of answers. I love Lulu very much, but I offer to give it to you in gratitude without knowing I love you and embrace you with all my heart. Helene Petit, Lyon, France. She gave away her teddy bear. Here, look at that. And look, all the other children have something to give because they were grateful for receiving food. They were grateful for receiving love. From the friendship train, right? In early 1949, a ship crossed the Atlantic Ocean from France to the United States. It carried 49 boxcars filled with thousands and thousands of gifts. Every single state received a boxcar of treasures from the Mercy train, the thank you train. Mercy is thank you in French. From stranger to stranger, from friend to friend. That was the Mercy thank you train from France, saying thank you, United States, for what you have done for us and helping us out. And that is the end of the story. What a beautiful story. Oh my, the friendship train. If you think of something that you could do special today for somebody, do it. It will make you feel better to share and to give love to someone else who really needs it. All right? You take care. God bless you, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye now. See you soon.